And welcome to the regularly scheduled business meeting for the Village of Broadview for August 6, 2012. Let the record reflect that it is now 7:30 and I'll be calling tonight's meeting to order. If you've got cell phones, please turn them on vibrate or turn them off. Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call, please?
Trustee Abraham? Here. Trustee Benson is absent. Trustee Ogritt? Here. President Jones?
Present.
Trustee McGreer?
Here.
Trustee Morris is absent. Trustee Brown Marino? Here. May we all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Can we have a moment of silence, please? Thank you. Item number 2, public comment.
Gwen Turner, please.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Gwen Turner.
Good evening.
I am now the secretary of the Neighborhood Watch Committee, and I have a problem with our park that's across the street from next door to Roosevelt School. The park is supposed to close at dusk. Kids are still out there playing. We called the police. They said the police don't close the park until 9 o'clock. I don't understand why it's that, and the sign is up there. I'm not the only one that's complaining about the park. Other neighbors on my street and on 14th are complaining about this park. The goings on is in that park, and something has to be done about it. It's ridiculous.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Turner. Sharon Harrod.
Good evening, everybody. I am Sharon Harrod, with the next clerk for South 15th Avenue. I am here as well to complain about the activities at the playground next door to Roosevelt School. I left here last week energized when I attended the Neighborhood Watch Committee, and I felt like we were finally going to address this problem. However, when I called last night, the dispatcher told me that the park would not be cleared until 9 o'clock. There's a small sign that states it closes at dusk. I do not call at dusk, I call at dark. I'm very disappointed in the dispatcher's attitude. I feel like it's neglectful. The minors are out there, they are in packs on that corner. They're sitting on St. James front steps, they're on the St. James fire escape next door to the building. I mean, it's chaotic. And they're unruly. They're traveling in packs. I would like for someone to address that problem.
Okay, thanks, Sharon. Ms. Valerie Price.
Good evening. My name is Valerie Price, and I live at 2420 on 11th Avenue here in Broadview. This evening I'm speaking to you because I am competing in a National American Miss pageant, and I was just hoping to get my name out there so that you would know who I was and maybe could consider donating funds to me so that I could continue to compete and possibly go to nationals, which are held in Disneyland, California. And there I would be eligible for scholarships that could help me pursue college. I'm currently a senior at Trinity High School in River Forest, so every penny would help. And I just thank you for your time.
Thank you. Melvin Price.
Melvin Price, father of Valerie Price. My concern is that every time we have a storm, no matter how heavy or light it is, the lights go out. And sometimes we have 2-3 hours. And I'm looking into the situation as far as trying to rectify some of my personal property. That is,
Generator.
And the price of that thing is something like $7,000 now. They have it hooked up properly on the outside to the fuse box, so when the lights go out, that thing automatically kicks on. Now, what I'm thinking about is there any type of assistance that I can get from Broadview to help with that? And at one point, Tom Ed used to come out every year and trim the trees back that was over the lines that in the back of the house. And that was sort of like maintained in some kind of way. I don't know if it did or not, but for 18 years that I've been in Broadview, the lights continue to go out, now it's getting worse. So it's a problem that I have to address myself. and I wanted to any solution that anyone could give.
Okay. Thanks for your comment, Mr. Price. And by the way, most of these things will be addressed throughout the course of tonight's meeting or at the end in the comments from the village. Ms. Joreen Gordon.
Hi. My comments are about the last meeting that we had here in July on the 16th. That one of the trustees up there wasted a horrible amount of time with questions that were outrageous in this sense, and that individual should have studied her material prior to the meeting, should have taken the opportunity and to learn about this stuff. Some of the things that she was talking about were questions about ordinances and details of information that were strictly taken from state statutes. And you can understand that from the reading and information that they gave out here. Surely a trustee that we have elected and put up here to represent us should take the time to read this material and understand where it comes from. And if they don't understand it, then they should not be sitting up there and wasting the time of all of us. The other thing that individual brought up, and I understand that they've been handing out some kind of flyers regarding this, is about the bond issue, that we need to do something that is not glamorous, it's not fun, but it's something needed for our village. My family and I have lived here since 1949. That's 63 years. And I have seen sewer pipes and water mains put into the ground. They don't last forever. Nothing lasts forever. And if our village is to maintain and continue on in the direction that we would like it to, we need to have those things fixed. They don't have the capacity to deal with the number of individuals that are currently residing in the village and the number of businesses. We need to fix these things. And in order to fix them, do we want to pay more money? No. But do we have to pay more money? I think we do. We need to be aware of the fact that nothing is for free, everything costs, and we do have to dip in our pockets to cover some things. And this village has done a great job, especially this current administration, of trying to get some of these things fixed that should have been addressed under the prior administration, as everybody knows. And for a trustee, and I'm going to name an individual now, is Trustee Brown Marino, that seems to not understand the necessity for taking care of business. There is a lot of posturing going on up there. There's a lot of interruptions of business up there that should have been better left in meetings that they hold in the back and in her committee meetings and doing things. She apparently spends a lot of time bothering a lot of our village employees and our consultants and raising our costs on a lot of factors. And those are things that should not be done. And I would like to say that I applaud our current mayor and the other trustees on the board for doing the job of sitting there and taking the time to read your materials, study up on them, and present the material in a way that is understandable to us sitting out here. And for one person to not seem to understand that is sad, extremely sad.
Thank you, Ms. Gordon. Our last public comment is Mr. Stone, Mr. Reginald Stone.
Good evening, board residents. I am a Broadview resident, and I just wanted to happily announce that the business we've been working on for so long is finally getting ready to open. It is Corner Spot Cafe. We're located at 1825 West Roosevelt Road. We'll be serving breakfast and lunch starting tomorrow morning, 6 a.m.
All right.
The board, mayor, and you guys for helping us get through this project and this process. And I urge you residents to come by and see us. It's 1825 West Roosevelt Road. We'll be open for business at 6 a.m. tomorrow. 6 a.m. to 3 p.m. Just breakfast and lunch. Tuesday through Friday, closing on Monday.
What kind of coffee was that you had me drinking?
Julius Minor Coffee is a premium coffee brand from Austria.
Yeah.
I'll try something a little different.
Yeah, and thank you, Reginald, for coming by.
Thank you.
And I think you guys will be pleased with the new business in Broadview. I actually went over there, met with the owners of the business, and actually sampled the menu. It was good stuff. Let the record reflect that Trustee Benson has arrived in the meeting at 7:35.
So noted.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Next agenda item, please.
Item number 3, consideration to approve the following minutes of July 16, 2012 regular business meeting.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Properly motion by Trustee Abraham, properly second by, who trustee?
Hargreaves.
Judy Hargreaves. I was thinking about Nicole. And second by Trustee Hargreaves. Do I have any questions or comments on the meeting from our last board meeting, starting with Trustee Brown Marino?
Yes, I did send this to the clerk, but not until today. Two things that I would suggest that we alter in this. First of all, under the section that talks about changing the order of the agenda, it says that we first had to pass the budget, but as I said at the meeting and as we did, we also had to pass the purchase orders for the ambulance before we approved the bills. So I wanted to include that. And under the bonds, I would like to include the statement that Mr. Coyne gave us the bond material that day as we were getting ready to vote on this, that he handed out material for the board members. So those are the two alterations I would like to request.
Okay. Madam Clerk? No. Trustee McGreer? None. Trustee Hargreaves?
Nothing.
Trustee Benson?
None.
Trustee Abraham?
None.
Okay. With those noted corrections, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, the ayes have it. The minutes are passed with the noted corrections. Madam Clerk?
Item number 4, consideration to approve the expenditures. Grand total all funds, $595,717.94.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Probably motion by McGreer and second by Trustee Abraham. May I have a report from Finance, please?
Mr. Mayor, Mr. Trustee Morris is absent. He's asked me to read your warrant list.
Okay.
So this is the list. AT&T, $5,400.36. B&F Technical.
Oh, that's the updated one. Okay, carry on.
B&F Technical, $11,072.50. Bank of New York Mellon Trust, $50,000 even. Blue Cross Blue Shield, $103,362.26. Broadview Police Pension, $3,726.94. Broadview Public Library, $11,074.83. Broadview Westchester Joint Water Agency, $125,892. Case Lots, $4,413.56. Commonwealth Edison, $5,132.94. Edmark Press, $6,458. Geno's Heating and Plumbing, $71,364. Root Industries, $42,785.55. Guardian Life Insurance, $7,453.50. Kelly's Truck Center, $3,835. Klein, Thorpe and Jenkins, $4,824.98. Law Offices of Philip M. Fornaro, $19,623.79. Mecca Tree Service, $12,305. MFA Construction, $8,271.34. Molders Collision Center, $5,193.26. North American Salt Company, $55,382.88 for a subtotal of $557,572.69, which is 94% of the grand total expenditures of $595,717.94. That concludes the report from Finance.
Thank you, Trustee McGreer. Questions or comments on the items identified in the warrant list, starting with Trustee Brown Marino?
None.
Thank you, Trustee Marino. Trustee McGreer?
None.
Trustee Hargreaves?
No.
Trustee Benson?
None.
Trustee Abraham?
None.
Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call, please?
Trustee Abraham?
Yes.
Trustee Benson?
Yes.
Trustee Hargreaves?
Yes.
Trustee McGuire.
Yes.
Trustee Morris is absent. Trustee Brown Marino.
Yes.
And that motion carries to pay these bills on the warrant list. Madam Clerk, next agenda item.
Item number 5, reports of the village officers will be given at the next board meeting. Item number 6, we have communication, a request for our annual back-to-school fest.
Where's the communication?
We have a request from, I received a request for a block park, for a back-to-school request to block off streets, 13th Street between 10th and 11th Avenue, August 18, 2012, from noon until dusk. The road closure is due to the annual Broadview Back-to-School Fest, sponsored by the Mayor's Office, being held at Evening Park. We received a recommendation letter from the Safety Committee, and they granted this request.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. So the Safety Committee's already approved it, you've already taken a look at it? Okay. Excuse me. Thank you. Do I need a motion from them to pass this agenda item?
Yeah, this is the motion for the back to school fest, yes.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
It's been motioned by Trustee McGreer and second by Trustee Benson to approve this agenda item. Do I have any questions or comments from the board? Trustee Brown Marino?
Nope.
Trustee McGreer?
No.
Trustee Hargett?
No.
Trustee Benson?
No.
Trustee Abraham?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries unanimously. Madam Clerk, next agenda item.
Item number 7, unfinished business, we have none. Item number 8, new business, consideration of a resolution authorizing the donation of surplus personal property for the village of Broadview, County of Cook, State of Illinois.
I make a motion that we table this.
Second.
Okay, it's motion by Trustee Hargett and second by Trustee Abraham to table this agenda item. Have any questions? Right. All in favor of the table?
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, this item is tabled to the next board meeting unanimously.
What date is that? August?
Today's the 6/14, August 20. Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Item number 9, application for the authority to spend fund, grand total, $41,305.
A motion to approve?
Second.
Properly motion by Trustee McGreer, properly second by Trustee Abraham. Do I have a report on these 3 items? Who's got them? This is Police Department?
Yeah, that'd be 2 to 1.
You got them, Judy? There you go.
Yeah, but it's not all of them.
You should have all of them in there. Which one you
I
missed?
have all of them.
You got all of them, Trustee McGreer?
Here's one.
Carry on.
You want me to
Go ahead, you might as well if you got them.
Because mine was
Okay, this
Go ahead.
first invoice is from Roche Ford in the amount of $24,974. This is for a 2013 black Ford Explorer Interceptor SUV for the police department. Second one is from Auto Truck Inc. in the amount of $10,171. This is to provide and install various equipment for that same black 2013 Ford Explorer. And then lastly, we have Konica Minolta Business Solutions, USA, in the amount of $6,060. And this is for the lease on our copy machine for the village here, actually for a couple of copy machines. And looks like we got a brand new copy machine because we replaced the 12-year-old one.
That's correct.
And that completes the report.
Okay. Questions or comments from the board, starting with Trustee Marino?
No.
McGreer?
Yeah, where did the new copy machine go? I didn't see it yet.
This copy machine, is this the one that went to, this the police department?
Fire.
The fire department?
Once coming to the village, once it's on
So you got 2. Right.
That's it for me.
All right. Trustee Harden?
No.
Trustee Benson?
No.
Trustee Abraham?
None.
Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call, please?
Trustee Abraham?
Yes.
Trustee Benson?
Yes.
Trustee Hargett?
Yes.
Trustee Madera.
Yes.
Trustee Morris is absent. Trustee Brown Marino.
Yes.
Okay, and that motion carries unanimously for the 3 purchase orders.
Item number 10, committee reports. Building and public property, Trustee Abraham.
Good evening, residents and board. I have a few things to announce. Due to the last meeting, the length of it, I foregoed my report regarding the building department and public property, so we've been kind of busy over there, Commissioner Upshaw. First, Commissioner Upshaw has been working on the solicitation ordinance with the police department and the legal department as we're trying to tighten that up regarding solicitation. We've had a few incidences again last week where kids have been going around selling magazines using different organizational names that they're representing. Again, we ask that you do please call the police department to inform them that there is people out there doing that, as well as you do need a permit to solicit. So again, you can check with our building department and they'll inform you of that as well, what the criteria is. Item number 2, all our village properties and foreclosed properties have and are being maintained. And also, just to give you a note on that, we have a few properties, obviously, that we're exceeding, and through Commissioner Upshaw's diligence, he was able to track down the banks that own them, so that we can start maintaining them so that they look like they're livable. Because obviously you want to deter crime and the opportunities. So there was a few properties that have now been cleaned up so they look like there's somebody living there, so it looks a little bit better and gives the appearance of the neighborhood. Also, garage sale permits, this is a reminder that it is on your own property. It's $10 for 3 days. Also, Commissioner Upshaw has been working with the banks again regarding vacant and foreclosed properties. They do have a form that is filled out so that we can keep a proper record. And as well as any maintenance we do to these properties, once they give us the authorization, we do get reimbursed. Also, the corner of 17th and Roosevelt Road, right here, we are maintaining that. The village has been maintaining that, and that property is under contract to be sold, and we will be reimbursed for the maintenance of that property over the last year. Also, he's been working on various projects with Garda, O'Reilly Auto Parts, Pizza Hut, and the water agency renovations. Also, our village lots, here when you drove in today, is now completed. They did the light poles, they obviously saw the paving, you saw some of the markings that were put down, so our village lot has been upgraded and maintained. Also, lastly, we want to thank the residents that have been calling and contacting our building department regarding any violations that they may see. So again, thank the residents as we try to maintain our community to look presentable. Again, it's image is everything. Also, another note, a few weeks ago I reported that the apartment building located on 12th and Cermak Road has been sold to an investment firm company out of California. They have a maintenance management company that from here in Chicago that is now going to start the renovations on that. And that's the end of my report, Mayor.
Thank you, Trustee Abraham. Madam Clerk.
Our next committee report, Business Committee, Trustee Benson.
Good evening, everyone. I do have to apologize to you for being 5 minutes late, but I do apologize. I am here now. As for my report, I did get something from the building department regarding Illinois Department of Public Health. A company called Ken's Food Incorporated is doing a voluntary recall of dressings and sauces containing onions. It says the manufacturer of the Golden Corral, tartar sauce, Dickey's barbecue bean sauce, Lee's coleslaw dressing, Satch tartar sauce, Ken's tartar sauce. These items are being recalled due to the onions from Gill's onions, which may have been contaminated, an organism that can cause serious and sometimes fatal infections in young children, frail or elderly people, and others with weakened immune systems. So if you know about any of this, or if you have any of these products, they are being recalled. The next thing that I wanted to report on is I was having a senior citizen seminar from the Cook County, oh gosh, I'm losing my mind, I can't remember what I'm trying to say. From the Cook County Department was coming out to do a seminar for the seniors over at the Park District. That was scheduled for this past Friday, and it had to be canceled due to the administrator over it, Mr. Brian Milic, was in Croatia on vacation and had a bad accident, and he's still in Croatia in the hospital. So he will be doing the seminars from Cook County when he gets better and when he's back in, and I will let you know more about that. The next thing on here is the facade program. Commissioner David Upshaw has been working with businesses on Roosevelt Road to get them involved in the facade program. So I just want to let you know that he is getting businesses that are getting into that program. Lastly is the economic development meetings that I've been doing with the residents. The last meeting, I believe, was last Wednesday, or actually it was probably 2 Wednesdays ago. I might have that date wrong. And what we did is I had Mr. Upshaw run that meeting, and he discussed with the residents in detail exactly what's going on, requirements that businesses have for coming into Broadview. He discussed setbacks that we have here in Broadview that sometimes won't let the businesses come. I also had the mayor there. I had another trustee there. I had Mr. McGreer and Abraham were all there, and some residents. And we just really got into what is setting us back with these businesses. And he gave a great presentation. So if any of you are interested in coming to hear more about that, we do have the meetings. I will announce the next meeting. It's actually at the end of this month. I'll probably announce it at the next board meeting. One more thing we discussed at that meeting, we're putting together a map of everything that's on Roosevelt Road so that we can talk in depth. And another thing that we're doing is coming late just got me on scatterbrain. We're doing the questionnaires. So if you got your newsletter, please do the questionnaire that's in the newsletter. If you don't have the newsletter, please go online. I do have it online. Please go on, fill it out. If you submit it online, I will get it. Your opinions are very important, and they are helping the committee to try and bring more businesses here because they know what the criteria are. They know what the restraints are, so we can try and get it together. Again, I will announce at the next board meeting the actual date and time. If you're interested or see me after the meeting, I will have that information in front of me better. And that completes my report.
Thank you, Trustee Benson.
Our next committee report, Fire, Police, and Civil Service. Trustee Hargrett.
Good evening, everyone. Quickly, I would just like to thank everyone for the support that they issued out to the Hillman family in the loss of their son, Armani, which was a classmate of my kids. So I really appreciate everyone's support. Most of the kids are doing better, so I just encourage everyone to pay attention when you're driving. Get as much sleep as you can before you get behind the wheel. Try not to text and drive. Not even try not to, just don't text and drive. That young man should still be here walking with us, but that was a mistake, and obviously he can't. So I just ask everyone to please be responsible while you're out driving, and look out for our kids because they're actually out and about and in the streets. It's summertime. I also would like to say, like you now, I'm off scatterbrained, but if you're looking for if you know any kids that are looking for school supplies or anything of that nature, because school is about to start back, thank God, because I'm sick of my kids, but school's about to start back. Lindop starts August 22nd, and they are doing another registration on August 18th at the mayor's back to school event. So if you know any parents that have not registered their children or new people that have moved into the community and they still need information about registration, especially for Lindop, they can come out on the 18th and sign their kids up and get them out of the house and make sure that they're at the first day of school, which is August 22nd. And
what incentive for that first day back? Isn't there an incentive for most kids at the school?
Yeah, most, if they have, I think it's 90% of their turnout, they do get an award back from the state. So I'm just advocating for the kids to get back in school, even if there isn't an incentive, because they need something to do. So like I said, August 18th, send all the kids to the park so that they can get rewarded and also sent back to school with the supplies that they need to start their first day. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Trustee Hargrett.
Our next committee report, streets, sidewalks, and alley. Trustee McGreer.
Good evening, residents, board. First of all, I'd like to apologize for not being able to host the Street Sidewalks and Alleys Committee meeting last month. I had a bit of a health issue, and I look to host that meeting sometime soon. as soon as we're able to get the correct parties involved. Secondly, I want to thank Chief Tigera and his department for responding to the many calls and complaints that they have received both through me and other residents just calling in. We've had a lot of crime lately, and I've seen it work. I've seen us call in and I've seen us give information. I've seen that department keep it confidential, and I've seen them catch criminals based on our calls. So continue to do so. We have a new neighborhood watch program in effect that I would like for everyone to be involved in. I see a lot of you here that are involved. This thing will only work better if everyone is involved. So look for forthcoming information through the village website, through the police newsletter, and other avenues. That concludes my report, Mayor.
Thank you, Trustee McGrath.
Our next committee report, will anybody give a finance committee?
Anybody on the committee with no report for finance?
Finance is absent. Our next committee report is water, drainage, and health. Trustee Garbarino.
Well, actually, I have some material for the other trustees. If you would, Trustee McGrath, if you would take one and then pass it down, they're all.
Sorry.
Last board meeting, we were given the information, the material about the bonds, literally moments before we were asked to vote on the bonds. What we were given was a copy of the Broadview Bulletin and our attention drawn to page 3, which had a table that purported to show that we had sufficient revenue to cover the cost of the bonds, and a report from the underwriter that actually gave us the figures about what the bonds were going to cost, our expenses as well as our debt service. I had been asking for this report since June 29th. This report was dated June 26th. At the June 29th special meeting, I had a conversation with the underwriter and our village attorney and was told, oh no, we've got all new figures. We're going to get them to you, and I kept asking for those figures. So it's not that I haven't been trying to do my homework on this. I didn't get my bulletin until after the meeting, so I didn't get a chance to see these figures from the bulletin until they were put in front of me right then, that day. I suspected that there was a problem with them when I saw the 2013 budget figures. Basically what this table shows, and this is the reason that I blew it up so that the board members can see this, and there's a reason why I need to be sure that you guys are aware of this. When I saw the 2013 budget figures, what they did basically is take what they're calling the net surplus or deficit from the water and sewer fund and adding back depreciation for each year. In the budget, we didn't take out depreciation, and you can't credit something that you haven't debited. So I noticed that right away, but I also suspected that there was more problems with the numbers, but I needed to be able to sit down. So there was no time to alert anyone to this at the time. The fact is, and the other thing was, as it was put in front of me in the bulletin, I assumed that this was something that came from our village, either the finance director or budget officer. And our finance director was on vacation for most of that week anyway. When I did speak with her, it turns out she did not create this report. While I was in her office, Mr. Hood called and he said he didn't create the report. And I'm talking about the table from the bulletin, which was what we were given.
Just as a point of order, this was already approved at the last board meeting.
Yes, but I need to make the board aware of this.
And there's no action presently pending as it relates to this matter, and I don't know if these documents, again, this is the first time seeing these today, as to whether or not they are, open for public viewing at this present time. I suggest that we discuss.
Open for public viewing. This came out of the
at the next board meeting. That'll be my suggestion.
Well, I don't believe we can wait until the next board meeting for me to share the
There's no action being taken on this, though.
I'm not taking action. I am reporting from the Water, Drainage, and Health Committee. If there's ever a committee that would be talking about the water bonds, the water and sewer bonds, it would be this committee. And the fact is, these numbers are completely wrong. The premise of this is completely wrong. What they've done in this table...
Well, hold on a second. We still haven't determined. These documents are being presented right now, and we haven't had a chance to talk to the finance director who's not here about this, and for us to review this. And there's no action pending as it relates to this matter. that was approved at the last meeting. My understanding, I wasn't here. But yeah, I think it should be addressed at a different time when there's proper...
Well, and once again, with all due respect, and let me explain, if you look at the other document, the other papers that are attached here, you'll understand why I want to get this across to the board members as quickly as possible, in a way that I know that they're going to have to hear. According to the Securities and Exchange Commission, we, the board up here, have the ultimate responsibility to be sure that the figures that are generated in regard to these bonds are correct.
And just as another point of order, there hasn't been any, our underwriters here, I don't think we've even set out for bonds.
We haven't done anything at this point.
The ability to sell bonds, we haven't set the amount of the bond, we haven't gone forward. This is definitely premature. Your Honor, I suggest that you cease discussion on this matter at the present time.
Cease discussion on the matter?
Yep.
So you're telling me that I can't tell the rest, you are prohibiting me from telling the rest of the board members that I've discovered that the numbers that we were given and that we were relying on at the last meeting are completely wrong?
Well,
I'm not allowed to share that with the rest of the board members. And what's more, the other documents also from the SEC I gave to you to demonstrate that this is our responsibility and our liability.
Okay, everyone. I think that we're devaluing the residents' time at this point.
Well,
listen up, because you presented some documents.
Actually, Mr.
just
President, I have the floor.
Mr. President,
I have the floor, and I'm not yielding the floor.
And you will have to yield the floor, quite simply because you gave the board members just now some documents that they have had no time to review.
Right.
There's no substantiation to the validity of any of the documents that were presented. It's your opinion at this point in time until some research is done to make sure that what you're making the claim is actually accurate.
And that
we do. Okay, well, wait a minute. But there's no action, and it's not part of tonight's meeting. And this is not part of your committee meeting because you didn't have a committee meeting. So I don't know how you can make a committee report on a committee that didn't even have a meeting. This was not presented to anyone. Nobody can respond to anything that you're talking about. This is all, supposition at this point in time. And I'm just asking the attorney, this is not proper protocol.
I would agree with that, and also, at this point, we have to set a time for instance, 3 minutes for a break.
Right.
Excuse me. You know what? The fact is, I've had the floor, and you guys have jumped all over that.
No, we're jumping all over the fact that you're giving some people some information and you're saying things that are unsubstantiated at this time. And you just gave this information, to your point, to the rest of the board members right here.
And I'm not.
They haven't had an opportunity to review it. Okay, well, why don't you you've disseminated the information. Why don't we have this discussion after everyone's had an opportunity to review your claims?
There is a reason why, and if you would allow me.
No action is being taken relative to what you're discussing right now. There's no sale of any bonds.
Mr. President, would you please stop overriding my time on the floor? Now, there's a reason I'm bringing this up too. When I spoke with our finance director after the last board meeting, she told me that I had asked her what is.
Well, the finance director's not here to substantiate. You're talking about somebody that can't respond to your claims.
Well, you know what? The problem is this is my only forum to ask about this right now, what I'm about to ask.
She's not here to ask.
I'm not asking her, I'm asking you. When I had spoken with her and asked her for a cash flow analysis and her opinion of what money we would have to make these bond payments, at first she said she would do this. She provided one report, was working on the rest. Then I sent her another email, and this morning I received an email from her saying, Trustee Marino, I respectfully ask you to defer your questions and request for information to Mayor Jones or Finance Chair Morris. Now, I have sent you numerous emails, especially for the last couple of weeks, about information that I would like to review, because now the rule is that I have to ask you for permission to look at something like the miscellaneous receipt book or the check register. You have not so much as responded to me, you or Mr. Finaro. So given that I have this here, and that the finance director, for some reason, is no longer providing even an opinion, so that we have real numbers to look at. That's my point. We don't have good, reliable numbers that we can look at. And the numbers that were given to the board at the last board meeting are wrong. And my discussion with her, she agreed that that was not the right approach. So I'm asking you now, I would like for our finance director to do a cash flow analysis, complete it, and complete her opinion of what money we would have to make these bond payments.
Okay.
And apparently I have to go through you for
Well,
that.
you should have gotten to the meat of it instead of going through all the other stuff before we got a chance to review this. You went through a whole lot of other stuff, you made an end run around the corner instead of just getting to the point.
Mr.
If you want
President,
me
you
to
have
discuss this with the finance director on a report that you're asking for, I will do that. But all the rest of the stuff that you're talking about and all those other details, that's just supposition.
It's not supposition.
Well, it's
It is not-
unsubstantiated at this
no,
point.
it is not.
We'll be on.
Now, there is
Okay,
another...
all right.
There is another matter that I wanted to bring up having to do with water, drainage, and health, and that is in the budget that was passed at the last village board meeting. For our garbage fund, we are projecting an excess of $198,200 for the fund for this current fiscal year. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up is I would like to ask the board to reconsider what we are charging for our multifamily property owners at a subsequent meeting, and that's the reason I'm bringing this up now, because then I would like to ask for this to be put on the agenda in a future meeting, for us to reconsider this. We are being charged by Groot $8.25 per unit for the multifamily.
There's a couple things. You've established a policy now for 3 minutes for these things.
Which he does not have the authority to do, and I don't recognize that new policy.
It's a policy that's in place. Everyone is complying to it, and that's what we've been doing. We've been going on for a long period of time now with that policy. This will be on 3 minutes, and there's also a policy set forth to talk about water drainage, and this is not within the bounds of that. This is actually a finance issue, number one, and a public works issue, which is a different committee head. So I suggest that you move on to the next order of business, Mr. Mayor.
Water, drainage, and health has always included garbage. That's why whoever sat in this chair with this committee always used to read those garbage numbers.
Trustee Marino.
This does fall under my committee.
Trustee Marino, for the record, your point was noted as it relates to the cost and the overage on the garbage, okay? I've got it noted.
Okay.
Anything further?
No.
Thank you, Trustee Marino.
Item number
Great.
11,
That's you.
Village Clerk. First of all, I want to apologize for my phone being off. But I would just like to make the announcement that Congressman Danny Davis, 7th District of Illinois, invites you to attend
Town hall meeting.
a town hall meeting tomorrow here at 7 p.m., 2350 South 25th Avenue, to be here in council. And the agenda items will be concerning the federal budget, the jobs and economic, the housing, education, and any other issues that the residents and his constituents may have. So I think I have some copies back there on the back table. Also on the back table is a flyer for August the 18th from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. The Answer Inc. will be having a hot fun in the summertime at Broadview Park District, 2600 13th Avenue. It will be free food, games, and surprise guest performance.
When is that? I'm sorry.
Pardon me?
When was that for?
That's
2 to 6 on the 18th.
the 18th, from 2 p.m. to 6 at Broadview Park District. And the Answer Inc. is an organization that is to support autism awareness and other disability in our Carolina Township community. And that concludes my report. Number 12, our village president.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. First of all, let me apologize to everyone out there in the audience tonight. A lot of this information should have been passed around long before we got to the board meeting so that people could actually respond intelligently in the board meeting to it. Having said that, there were several public comments that were made earlier in tonight's meeting. Ms. Turner and Ms. Harrod talked about the park, which is a primary concern of mine because I live in the same neighborhood and they're my neighbors and personal friends of mine. And I've talked to the chief at great lengths about the park, and I'm actually going to defer to him when I get done with the rest of these items so that he can tell you what's going on with the police department. I will say this though, I did listen to the actual, at least one of the 2 actual calls to the police department, and it didn't sound like there was a state of emergency over there. It didn't sound like a lot of commotion, because what happened on that particular call was they notified the police department that there were a lot of kids in the park and that the park closed at dusk. And that was basically the information that was disseminated. While the dispatcher was not rude, they were kind of short. I discussed that with the chief, and I know he's going to address that tonight. But I'm going to move on to the other items that came up. Mr. Price, I suggest that you contact the fire chief and the building commissioner. They have the contacts with ComEd on whatever kind of assistance that we can get, and they are out here trimming. We just need to notify them because there may be areas that they do not know where they need to trim some trees. So if you call us, call Public Works, call the commissioner in the building department, let them know where it is or what's going on, they will come out, okay? Valerie, we don't have a fund like that. I will disseminate your information around and see what we can do. There is a phone number on here for you, so if we come up with anything, we will contact you, okay? But the village doesn't have anything prepared like that. At this time, we are working on it, but it's just not ready just yet. Ms. Gordon, you said a lot of things today. I got a whole page of things here. I will say this. These trustees up here, they're humans, each and every one of them, all 6 of them, and sometimes things happen and the information doesn't happen. Whether it's by design or not, I can't say. I just know that, you know, they're human and they have frailties like everyone else does. So they're not perfect. I would not want to crucify any one of them for any particular reason. Sometimes we get off track and we need to be reminded to get back on track. So hopefully they will communicate a little bit better with each other prior to coming to the board meetings and having this kind of a display in front of you all. Mr. Stone, who has left here, the restaurant looks great. It's very nice. I actually went in there. I would hope that all of you all would attend this restaurant at some point in time. There's a couple of things I want to talk about aside from what came up tonight in the board meeting. We've had a rash of burglaries throughout town. I'm going to let the chief talk about that also tonight. Commissioner Larry Rogers from the Tax Appeal Board for Cook County will be out, but I don't have the exact date, and he will be explaining the tax appeal process that you can take advantage of in the fall. Congressman Davis has already been announced. I also have a meeting for those of you that are seniors and have asked me about senior citizen housing and senior citizen housing within the village of Broadview. I am meeting with Congressman Davis and Hood this week. There's on the table of $8 million financing and funding for senior citizen development, and they want to start in Broadview, so we're going to talk about that this week. And as it relates to the floods and water and the infrastructure, what everyone needs to understand about that is quite simply this. Our infrastructure was put in some 80, 90 years ago. At the time that it was put in, all these houses and all the industry that we have in Broadview was not here. The infrastructure, as it is very difficult for it to sustain all of these businesses with the water pressure. And add to that, we're getting ready to put a brand new state-of-the-art pumping station up. So you're going to have a state-of-the-art pumping station up by next year, pumping water through 80 and 90-year-old pipes. We've had collapsed sewer basins, so we must address it. It's something that the wheels fell off the wagon at some point, so we've got to address it. And it's not just about fixing the water, but it's about saving your investment in your houses. Those of you that had water in your basements and floods, and some of it was partially due to the drainage system, well, guess what? We need to make sure that that doesn't happen to the greatest extent that we can. And if we can do that, that's what we're going to do. It may cost us some money, it may, but we don't know the details of it, and we have not actually discussed the bonds at this point. The back to school thing is coming up. Jan Baptist, Trustee Marino referred to Jan Baptist and her conversations with Baptist as relates to some of the funding of our projects. I need everyone to know that Baptist was present in all of the meetings with the bond underwriter and all the discussions about the infrastructure. She was well aware, and she created the table that the report was generated from. The new information that Trustee Marino has presented to the trustees will be reviewed today, and we will check it for validity and accuracy, and we'll bump it up against what we already have, and then we'll come back in 2 weeks and let you know where we stand. And that's all I've got for right now. We do have an executive session tonight. You're welcome to wait. I think it's going to be a little bit lengthy though, So I do not think there will be any action taken in the executive session tonight. So with that, I'll entertain a motion to recess to the executive session. And, excuse me? Oh, I'm sorry, the chief, yeah. I'm sorry, I forgot about the chief. I forgot he was sitting over there. Let me introduce to some and present to others Chief Luis Tiguera of the Broadview Police Department, and let them know what's going on, Chief.
A couple of things as it relates to the parks. Back in April, May, I met with Katrina Thompson and discussed what our role is going to be this summer regarding curfews, regarding signs, regarding our responsibilities as the police department going on Park District property and enforcing their laws. With two separate government, Park District and Village of Broadview. So they provided us the authority to go and enforce their laws, their rules. So we decided that as it relates to what is the definition of dusk. So some could say at that time during the summer months it could be 8:30, 8:45, 9 o'clock. So we decided 9 o'clock was going to be it. However, obviously as summer continues, dusk becomes from 9 o'clock, 8:50, 8:45, 8:30. We, the police department, did not adjust at that capacity. We stayed at 9 o'clock. We get 2 calls last night, right there, 2 calls of youths at the park. And that it was dusk and they shouldn't be in the park. Well, let me identify the fact that you're right that dusk and they shouldn't be in the park. During that time, we had shots fired call, fireworks call, a domestic call, and an officer on traffic stop. The sergeant decided to prioritize the calls. Youths in the park was not a priority at that time. However, at 8:45, when the calls were disposed of, the officer, the sergeant in charge, made a decision. Let's close the parks down now, and they went and they closed the parks. So, number one, I need you to continue to call. But understand that if there's priorities out there as it relates to safety, we will prioritize. And youths in the park, because of dust, is not a priority. If there was a call, there's a fight in progress, there's shots fired, there's guns, there's narcotics, we will respond. But we have to go in what is priority in the safety of our residents. So, first of all, I apologize if the telecommunicator was rude. I heard both of your calls. She was short. She provided the information and she just wanted to get off the phone. I apologize, that's being handled. Number two, I've already identified the fact of what and how we respond to calls. And number three, effective immediately, 8 o'clock will be dusk for us. 8 p.m., all parks will be closed. We will be going to all the parks and we will close them. If there are any kids after 8 o'clock, we will handle it appropriately with the loitering laws that we have. I think that's fair. My job is to deter crime. My job is to make sure that quality of life here is great. And number three is officer safety. So I hope I've answered your question. I'm sorry for what occurred, but hopefully you understand where we're coming from. Burglaries. We had a string of burglaries, and I'm going to say had, because I hope that's the end of it. But I hope so. We did a grid, and I'm going to make a presentation on May 20th on that grid, on where these acts or where these burglaries occurred, the time, dates. We did an analysis, and then pursuant to our neighborhood watch, we started to get a lot of calls. Suspicious vehicles, suspicious persons, kids walking down the street. In the meantime, what we've done, or what we did was, we were in covert vehicles. We were dressed down, right in our uniforms. We were walking the streets. I was out there. I've been out there several times, and looking. We got phone calls. we've identified individuals, don't live in Broadview. Number two, we arrested one individual for attempted robbery and aggravated battery. He was one of the individuals that we thought was burglarizing that area. And then we arrested 2 burglars out by Roosevelt School based on phone calls. So, and based on that arrest, we also received more information on what's happening in the burglaries in Broadview. So there are things that we're doing. Obviously, I'm not going to be discussing those in public strategies and information that we receive, but that is ongoing, and we're going to try to mitigate that. I think there was one more. Graffiti. Just to let you know, we've had several graffitis in town, but it's not a lot. And what we do as a police department, what we've started doing is, we take pictures, we put it in our database. Once in our database, we start looking and see if there's a pattern, if there's a trend, if we've seen that picture before, and where. Number 2, we then notify the surrounding police departments to see if they had that in their area. Number 3, we start looking for what gang symbol, or if there are any words to see if there's a pattern with another agency, or if we know, hey, we know that a guy by the name of Andre, that's his signature. So we will follow up. We've identified 2 individuals, but we haven't located them. So we're working on that. Speeders, stop signs, you see us, we're out there, we're riding people. You call us, you let us know what's the issue in your area, we're going to do it. But we can't be everywhere. I'll tell you that right now. We're not going to be your block police because we can't be there. But when you provide us information, we will put it on our schedule, and I'll tell you, we will be there to do whatever we can. During the week, you're going to see a lot of police, so obey the law. Tomorrow night, Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday night. It's going to be a lot. Whether it's us, Cook County, State Police, whatever, we're going to be out there.
God bless you.
Did I miss anything, Mr. Mayor?
I think you addressed everything. And just reminder that it will be a sliding scale on the dusk issue. I talked to the chief at great lengths about the 9 o'clock issue. He's moved it up to 8 o'clock now, and it'll be revisited every couple of weeks as we check at what time sundown is going to be. So, and thank you for coming tonight. No, you didn't have to, but I appreciate your commitment to the residents to come out and explain what's going on with the police department. With that being said, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn the recess, adjourn to the executive session.
Mr. Mayor, make a motion that we adjourn to our executive session.
Second.
Properly motion by Abraham, properly second by Trustee Harvey. All in favor? Aye. All opposed. All right, the meeting stands adjourned to executive session.